The boy took a sip of the happy water and suddenly realized that his little stick was gone. Just as he was about to check for himself, his sister suddenly burst into the room, and the air froze solid for 2.5 seconds. The boy desperately tried to explain that he was her brother, but his sister didn't care at all and casually began inspecting his body. She then asked how it felt to become a girl, and that's when the boy finally realized something was wrong with the drink. His sister confessed that she had tampered with it. She immediately shot back, asking how long he planned to keep hiding in the house. It had been 2.5 years already. All he did was play games and recharge credits all day without even finding a job. Even the neighbor Thor was better than him. She explained that it was just an experiment, and once the effects wore off, he'd return to normal. Instead of stressing, she said, "Why not enjoy the experience?" The boy instantly understood and picked up a disc from the floor, thinking she was absolutely right. He then got ready to open his computer and recharge again, asking his sister to quickly leave so she wouldn't see something she shouldn't. His sister was speechless but gave a wicked smile and lovingly sat down next to him to give him a full-on biology lesson. Suddenly, the website he had just opened lost all appeal, but even if he couldn't recharge anymore, his single for 25 years reflexes were still strong, so he happily started playing games again. Just then, he felt the urge to pee, but he was about to win a ranked match, so he thought about using a bottle. The problem was, his little stick was no longer there. Unable to hold it, he dashed to the bathroom, and when he instinctively tried to pull it out, he realized again that it was gone. After finishing, he looked in the mirror and finally accepted that this was a tragic story. He returned to his room with a sad face. Even the game wasn't fun anymore, and he collapsed onto the bed crying, unaware that his sister was watching the entire thing through the surveillance camera. The next morning, his sister came to take measurements of his body, but as soon as she got close, the smell hit her, and she couldn't take it anymore. When she asked, she found out he hadn't bathed in 17 days. But the real reason for the bath was fake. The true goal was to make him wear girls' clothes. But as soon as he put on the skirt, he felt a cold breeze below and felt super uncomfortable. He wanted to change quickly, but his sister told him that all his old clothes had been thrown out. From now on, she would handle all his clothing and styling. She told him to look at himself in the mirror, and the boy was instantly stunned by how cute he looked. He couldn't help but admire himself, but then snapped out of it, thinking something was wrong. He was clearly a boy, so why was he feeling like a girl? Feeling tangled inside, the boy decided to cool down in his room. Behind him, his sister gave a smirking look, as if she had the whole world under control. Another morning came, and his sister had already prepared a floral dress for him. After putting it on, the boy found himself so captivated by his own reflection that he kept smiling at the mirror, not even noticing his sister peeking at him through the door. When he came to his senses, he felt pathetic, sat at the table holding his head in his hands, crying hard. He thought he was beyond saving now. Not only did he have girly feelings, but now, even seeing handsome guys made his heart flutter. His sister tried to comfort him, saying it was normal now that he was a girl, but he couldn't take it and cried even harder. Helpless, his sister decided to take him outside to lift his mood. She pulled the unwilling boy into the sunlight, but the moment he stepped out, this sneaky boy dashed back inside. This happened again and again until the exhausted boy, who was a total shut-in, finally ran out of energy. After getting ready, he finally agreed to run a bit for relaxation, but had one request. So, with the sister leading and him following, it was clear how much more athletic she was. Compared to her, the boy was clearly struggling. Watching her back, he remembered all the amazing things she had done. She had been a sports prodigy since childhood, broke national records in middle school track events, always topped the school in exams, and even skipped grades to enter university early. She was a genius by any standard. Meanwhile, he had lived in her shadow all his life. Perhaps that's why he became a shut-in, and maybe that's why he had now become his sister's toy. But honestly, right now, he didn't hate it. At least it felt relaxing. Suddenly, he stopped. His chest hurt because he wasn't wearing a bra. So his sister took him shopping and recommended a crop top bra. After putting it on, he looked in the mirror again, and yep, still super cute. Now that he had turned into a girl, which side should he enter in a public bathhouse? While playing games, he heard his sister calling. It turned out the bathroom had no hot water. Even though she was a genius scientist, she was completely clueless in this area. The boy was happy he wouldn't have to bathe, but his sister told him not to get his hopes up. They were going to a public bathhouse nearby. Still feeling like a guy inside, he didn't think it was appropriate, but she told him to hurry up. Standing at the entrance, he hesitated about whether to go into the male or female bath. When he tried going to the left, his sister pulled him back and reminded him that he was a girl now. Full of curious thoughts, he entered and found out it was full of grandmas. He said he didn't mind, but was his sister really okay with this? Embarrassed, she told him not to look at her, but he casually replied that he wasn't interested in her body. The bathhouse was even bigger than he imagined, and he ran happily toward the jacuzzi. His sister told him he had to wash his body first, so he obediently rinsed for 2.5 seconds and declared himself clean. His sister said that with long hair, that wasn't enough. She needed to teach him. First, he should brush out the dirt from his hair, then wet it with hot water, lather up shampoo into bubbles, gently massage the scalp, and finally rinse it out with warm water for 5 full minutes due to his hair length. Only after all that should he relax in the bath, and it truly felt wonderful. Feeling awkward about soaking in the tub with his sister, he left the jacuzzi early. Do you lick the bottle cap when drinking soda? He definitely would. After finishing his bath, drinking a cold soda felt like the best thing ever, and he never thought he would end up bathing together with his sister again. Watching the brother and sister playing nearby brought back memories of childhood, when he used to bathe with his sister and even help wash her hair. But now things were completely reversed. His sister was more like the big sister now, and without thinking, he called her Big Sis, which made her really happy and determined that they had to come back for another bath next time. She noticed his hair was still wet and, as the older sister, insisted on teaching him the right way to dry his hair. When you carefully dress up and face this kind of reaction from someone, would you be angry? Ever since the boy's body turned into a girl's, his mind had gradually become more feminine too. He started loving to braid his hair in cute ways and was even caught by his sister in the act. The boy tried to argue that it was only because of the hot weather that he did his hair, but soon he was having too much fun playing with different styles. His sister admired how nimble his hands were, and he proudly claimed it was all thanks to practice in the bathroom. His sister wanted to capture this rare opportunity and document every style, so the boy, half willing and half shy, changed into all sorts of hairstyles, and before he knew it, he was naturally doing things only girls would do. He also started getting used to trying on all kinds of cute girl clothes, and when he glanced at his sister, he pointed out that she always wore the same outfit every day, so even she needed to dress up sometimes. His sister, refusing to lose, boldly accepted the challenge, changed into a dress, and came to see the boy. But he was such a straight man that he had zero reaction. His sister noticed even the way he sat was becoming more girly, but the boy insisted it was just more comfortable that way. He also noticed something was off about himself and wanted to quickly regain his manly heart, but he'd already forgotten how to even act like a man. His sister thought a man should be strong and reliable like a prince, but the boy was so weak he couldn't even lift her, so maybe he could try giving her a piggyback ride instead. Seeing her brother so withdrawn by now, his sister thought he should at least start living well. Wake up on time, play fewer games, exercise more. Speaking of exercise, the boy thought maybe he could do sit-ups to build muscle, but his stomach hurt so much he couldn't do even one, and the pain just kept getting worse. He thought maybe it was his sister's fault, but she said she'd tested the medicine and it couldn't be a side effect after a whole month. Suddenly, she had a suspicion, especially as the boy said he felt very tired, wanted to sleep, was moody, had no energy, and felt some weird stuff in his chest. She became more convinced and told him there was something difficult to talk about, but right then his stomach cramped and he rushed to the bathroom. She hesitated but reminded him to stay calm in there, but the boy said he wasn't panicking about using the toilet anymore. Still, when he looked down, he was shocked. Afterwards, he was heartbroken, saying he was doomed. He hadn't even finished the new game, so he had to ask his sister for help. She gave him a hot pack for his stomach, and after he put on a sanitary pad, walking felt weird. His sister said it's actually weird for guys too, but now he finally understood how tough it must be for his sister to go through this every month. Yet she never cried in front of him, which he thought was really admirable. So next time her stomach hurt, he promised he'd take care of her. If a strange girl suddenly appears in your bathroom, a normal person would definitely take a closer look and then immediately close the door, silently chanting, "Too beautiful." After fixing her hair clip, his sister walked out and saw the boy and the other girl sitting close together. The boy, flustered, called out for his sister to save him. His sister explained that this was Xiaoong, her old classmate from middle school. The boy thought her friend dressed way too flashy, so this was what people meant by hot girl, and for a homebody like him, it was overwhelming. He worried about his true identity being exposed. Xiaoong was surprised his sister had a sibling, since she'd never mentioned it before, so the two siblings exchanged a knowing look and made up a random excuse. His sister wanted Xiaoong to hang out with her brother while she finished her college report. Xiaoong asked about his hobbies, and the boy said he liked reading manga and playing games. It turned out Xiaoong played games too, but only mobile ones. Just then his stomach reminded him it was time to eat, but his sister was too busy to cook, so Xiaoong said she'd whip up something quick from the fridge. She was good at cooking because she had a little sister too, and asked if the boy could cook. When he said no, she told him to watch and learn. Soon, Xiaoong made bacon and egg fried rice, and when the boy tasted it, he found it surprisingly delicious. Being treated as the younger sister felt pretty great. Thanks to Xiaoong, he got to eat his fill. He had thought hot girls would feel wild and unrestrained, but Xiaoong didn't give him that feeling at all. Suddenly, she asked if he'd ever tried something before and said she'd teach him as a big sister. She told him not to be shy, to just close his eyes and leave it to her, and the boy got dizzy, his mind spinning from Xiaoong's moves. Afterwards, he was embarrassed, thinking it was all about being naughty, but she was only teaching him how to do makeup. After seeing Xiaoong off, his sister was in a great mood. Xiaoong could help her brother relearn how to interact with people, and the boy also thought Xiaoong was really nice, like a good big sister, and told his own sister to learn from her. When a boy changes into a girl and becomes airport flat, does it mean he was always small as a boy too? The movie he was looking forward to was about to premiere, but as a homebody, he didn't dare go to the theater. Luckily, his sister wanted to see it too, so she took him out. Being shy and socially awkward, he only dared to hide behind his sister. The positive energy was almost too much for his body, and just then Xiaoong appeared at the mall and suggested they check out the accessories shop first. That's when he realized his sister had tricked him again. Xiaoong wanted to buy cute hair hair clips, but his sister just patted the one she was wearing and wasn't planning on buying new ones. Meanwhile, the boy had already broken his own rule by drinking milk tea outside, and Xiaoong, seeing the poster from last time, suggested they look at new swimsuits. The boy was completely shocked but ended up going along. Compared to how his sister looked in a swimsuit, he thought her figure was on a totally different level, which annoyed her, so she forced him to try on one too. In the end, he picked the most modest one-piece swimsuit, and then the three of them went to the cinema. His sister thought it was a bit cold inside, and just as the film hit its most exciting part, the boy suddenly had to pee. When he got to the ladies' room, there was a long line, but the men's room was totally empty. Xiaoong noticed he hadn't returned and came looking for him, but because he didn't make it in time, he ended up wetting himself. Xiaoong saw his skirt was fine, offered to buy him a new one for his sister, and promised to keep it a secret. The next day, when it was time to eat, but the meal hadn't started yet, and he complained that even though his sister always acted like the big sister, she was making him go hungry. Then he realized his sister seemed to be feeling unwell, but with the confidence of someone who'd experienced it himself, he guessed it was her period. She said it was just a cold, and for lunch, he'd have to make do with instant noodles. The boy knew his sister had been staying up late and had caught a bad cold, and yet she was still doing all the housework and taking care of him, so he wanted to step up and be a responsible big brother to show her how amazing Oni-chan could be. He stuffed the washing machine full, carelessly tossed in bleach and softener, and grabbed whatever to make food for his sister. Since she was sick, she should have porridge. He called Xiaoong for advice, carefully made the porridge, and then gently brought it to his sister. She was so moved that she cried, since it was the first time her brother had ever cooked for her. Even though it was flavorless, she happily finished it all. Suddenly, her memories drifted back to the past when Xiaoong came to school wearing a new hair clip, and his sister explained it was a gift from her brother. After a night's rest, she was finally cured, and the boy had stayed by her side all night, quietly covering her with a blanket and closing the door softly. When they were little, the brother and sister were close, but over time, he stopped playing with her, so to earn his praise, she worked extra hard in both studies and sports. When the boy woke up and went to the living room, his sister had made cookies, and seeing how happy he was to eat them, she felt like things were back to how they used to be, even though their roles had reversed. She hoped they could stay this way for a while longer. Now, the girl standing in front of the mirror had the soul of a big guy, but after the gender swap, she also loved doing cute things. The sister was so touched, saying even Oni-chan's way of picking names was getting girly. The boy was annoyed, saying that watching morning cartoons on Sunday was a gentleman's hobby. His sister seriously asked for a day off, which scared him, thinking something major happened. She explained that she had to stay overnight at university because of school and wanted him to take care of the house. He was thrilled. Alone time was exactly his specialty. His sister left him money for the day and told him to get dinner himself, but of course, he just grabbed something from the convenience store. She asked him to clean up the house, but he lazily made no promises. The second she left, the boy started celebrating his regained freedom, planning to fully enjoy himself. First thing, changing back into his favorite homebody outfit. He spent the day playing games, but just couldn't concentrate, and then tried reading manga, but couldn't get into it either. Ever since he turned into a girl, his sister was always by his side, so suddenly being alone made him feel extra lonely, though he refused to admit it and ordered a ton of good food to enjoy all by himself. But even though eating alone was satisfying, he couldn't finish so much, so he decided to just go to bed early and wait for tomorrow. The next morning, his sister returned at dawn and went straight to his room, finding that Oni-chan had gone to bed with wet hair. Sure enough, without her, he couldn't take care of himself. This sister was truly wild. She even started daydreaming about her brother getting married someday. Because he lost a game, the boy had to run errands for his sister, who wrote out a list of things to buy. Even though he was shy and nervous about going out alone, his sister was pleased he had started helping since her last cold. But at the supermarket, there were too many people and he was too timid to go in. He encouraged himself, remembering how proud he felt looking after his sister when she was sick. The other person thought the boy looked unwell and checked his temperature, but when he realized the boy was just scared to go in, he offered to go together. The boy felt embarrassed to cry in front of a stranger, but handed the note to the young man, and when choosing potatoes, the young man said the ones that were smooth and without blemishes tasted best, and the same with carrots. Pick the small, brightly colored ones. The boy thought he was so reliable, and some bystanders mistook them for a couple, which reminded him he was a girl now, but even so, he shouldn't be having such naughty thoughts. As they left the store, the young man got a call and Xiaoong appeared. He called her sister, and the boy was stunned, finally remembering Xiaoong had a younger sister and realizing she was a girl. Xiaoong wanted her sister Hongye to try on a dress, but Hongye said pants were more comfortable. That night, the sister explained Hongye was a middle schooler and very steady, which reassured the boy that he wasn't on a dangerous path. His sister was surprised and teased that being a lolicon wasn't okay. The boy defended himself, saying that now as a girl, he nearly went Yuri. Later, Xiaoong and her sister came to visit, and the boy was so startled by strangers that he nearly wet himself. Hongye was wearing a skirt, so he didn't recognize her at first. She said she'd just gotten out of school, and when she learned Xiaoong was coming, she insisted on joining. Xiaoong understood and had the boy take Hongye to his room to play. He rushed ahead to hide all his embarrassing stuff before letting her in, but once alone, he had no idea how to hang out with another girl. Hongye was surprised his room looked so boyish, filled with gaming consoles, and was curious about the covered boxes. The boy awkwardly changed the subject, thinking she must hate skirts, but she said she didn't really mind them, though they made her legs cold, and it was easy for people to peek, plus she didn't think she suited skirts. The boy said he thought she looked cute, and Hongye laughed and got closer. At that moment, the boy felt weak and helpless. He never knew girls liked playing this way. In the fun, he accidentally bumped the cabinet, spilling its contents everywhere. Hongye helped him pick up all the cute things, and he tried to blame it on his brother, saying the room belonged to his brother, who was away at school, and now it was his to use. He said he couldn't just throw things away, so he had to keep them. Hongye said at least the pretty things should be stored properly, and she'd help him organize. The boy had to say goodbye to his precious treasures for a while as they worked together, but when they tried to put the box back, he slipped and fell with Hongye on top of him, and she accidentally landed on his chest. Hearing the noise, his sister burst in and saw the shocking scene. Truly, only brothers understand each other best. Even when out, the boy didn't forget to buy special treats for his brothers. To get the anime goods he liked, he finally managed to step out of the house, and his sister was so moved she promised a big meal as a reward. He visited lots of shops before collecting all the merchandise, but as he realized, all the little perverts around him were staring at him. The boy noticed that his way of sitting seemed to be giving off some unintended signals. He went to the long-missed arcade, but taking advantage of his new identity as a girl, he chose to play in the photo zone reserved only for girls and became obsessed with his own cute reflection. Later, while playing a rhythm game, he suddenly sensed someone watching him. Even though he wasn't playing well, he thought it was because he was a girl. Perverts often target girls who play alone. When someone touched his shoulder, he instantly tensed and begged them not to bother him with that kind of thing. Then he realized it was just a staff member who started questioning which school he attended and why he was skipping classes to play games. Afterward, the boy complained that the outside world was still scary. His sister sighed. Her brother, who had finally made some progress, was back to square one. Because he didn't like grooming, his hair was in bad condition, so he simply chopped it all off. His sister refused to let him keep his hair long because it took too much time. The boy didn't understand since it had grown overnight, but his hair was indeed quite long, so his sister decided to take him to a beauty salon to enjoy a fresh new look. As a homebody, he couldn't get used to the stylist's endless chatter. Once his hair was cut, he finally relaxed. He was forced to endure another round of non-stop talking, but he got to experience a facial massage while washing his hair, and indeed, the salon was the best. After washing, they had to do hair care, and his big sister continued her verbal bombardment. The boy could only choose to sleep and avoid it. When he woke up, he found himself completely transformed. While he had been asleep, his sister had styled him, and he now felt like a princess. This was probably some kind of mother sword behavior, but when he opened the door, a zombie suddenly appeared. Would anyone not be scared? The boy was startled, and his sister stopped teasing him. She said it was Halloween, but the boy was stubborn, saying it was just a boring holiday, and this was his outfit. Seeing this, the sister said he was going to Xiaoong's house for a party and, since that was the case, he should stay home and watch the house. The boy found it strange that no one else was dressing up, and he knew he was being played by his sister again. When the sisters were cooking, Hongye took the boy to her room to change clothes. It was the boy's first time going into another girl's room. Hongye apologized that her clothes were mostly neutral styles. After changing, the boy felt sorry that he hadn't seen Xiaoong's outfit change. Hongye understood since her older sister's figure was great and best suited for modeling as a little sister, but he only had 2 tiny sweater hairs on his airport. The boy reassured him he was a potential star, especially since they were sisters, but Hongye felt like her share was being taken away by her sister. She thought the boy was quite talented. The boy now remembered his sister's chest seemed pretty big, meaning he might keep growing. He panicked, forgetting he was a man, a naughty big bad wolf. Hongye quietly asked if it was true that the chest grew bigger the more you touched it. The boy was baffled. The topic was way off track. As a homebody shut in for 2.5 years, he'd never had the chance to experience this. At the dinner table, Hongye mentioned the boy had said he had a brother, but even Xiaoong had never met him. Although his sister often talked about her brother before, she was shy and quickly changed the subject, suggesting a trip for everyone. The boy wanted to find a warm island to relax in air conditioning and continue being a shut-in, but they didn't have enough budget for such a trip. Xiaoong thought they could go to a nearby hot spring. On the way, the boy brought up the earlier topic, thinking his sister had spoken badly about him behind his back, but now he didn't care. The boy lazed around playing games all day, refusing to go out even when his sister told him to. His sister was frustrated that although her brother went out more, he still had the shut-in nature. She wondered if she should use a secret weapon. Just then, Hongye came to visit. When he greeted her, he was confused because 2 unknown girls followed her. If given the choice, would everyone rather stay home enjoying their sister's care or go to school hanging out with the girls? The boy was a socially anxious shut-in, but because his sister drugged him and turned him into a soft girl, then sent him to school to experience life, Hongye happened to be going to a Christmas party and invited the boy to join. The socially anxious boy was too scared to be with unfamiliar girls, but his sister decided for him and even gave him pocket money. Hong Ye said she and Asahi had known each other since childhood, but often complained every night that it was a cursed fate. The boy was excited as it was her first time celebrating Christmas, and to show his gratitude, Asahi wanted to feed her a bite, but Hong Ye was jealous and insisted she'd feed the last bite herself. The boy was happy. Hong Ye was happy. Hong Ye was happy.